Hey guys, I just filmed my October wrap-up and November TBR, and now I'm here to film my November book haul. I did an unboxing earlier this month with a bunch of books that I bought, and now it's time to put them all in a book haul. This is probably going to be very long, so I'm just going to cut right to the chase and do the book haul for it. The first box, I got a box set of 3 books in a series because I saw people all over YouTube talking about this series, and I wanted to read it, so I got the, sorry, give me a second. So I got the To All the Boys I Loved Before box set by Jenny Han. It comes with To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever Lara Jean. Zoe over at Read by Zoe loves this series, and so do a lot of other people on BookTube. So I wanted to read the series and get my own take on it. I hear it's very, very good. I love series like this. So when I saw it on Book Outlet for cheap, the box set on Book Outlet for cheap, I couldn't resist, and they're in hardcovers, so I love that. I thought they were going to be like 3 paperbacks, but I love that they're hardcovers, so I have all 3 of the hardcovers to match. And they're turning the series into a movie, so I'm very excited to read these and then watch the movie, and then go see the To All the Boys I Loved Before movie. The next one is A Little Thing Called Life by Linda Thompson. I like Linda Thompson. I think Linda Thompson is amazing. She was married to Brody Jenner, David Foster, and a bunch of other people. I think maybe once or twice before. I don't really know. But I like her son, Brody. That's Brody. And then his brother, Brandon. And then the mother. I like Brody because Brody was on a TV show that I was obsessed with called The Hills. And he was, oh my God, very good looking. So I'm interested to read this. And like I said, I love Linda Thompson. And this has been blurbed by so many people. Tony Danza, Tim Allen, Billy Ray Cyrus, and a bunch of other people. But I'm very excited to read this and see what she wrote about. The next one is a book that I actually did read, and it's called It's Not Okay by Andy Dorfman. I read this on my Kindle. I know she was on Bachelorette, and I had heard of her, but I didn't know what show she was on. I just had heard of her, and then I started reading it, and I was like, oh, she was on The Bachelorette. She was one of the Bachelorettes. But I really did like this book. I did read this on my Kindle, but I liked it a lot. I had to get a physical copy of it, and I might reread this in the future, but I just read it like maybe last month before, I can't remember, and I very much did like it. I think I gave it maybe 4 or 5 stars, but I liked it, so I wanted to get a physical copy of it, and for cheap, it was on Book Outlet, and I could not resist. The next one is Nightmares, A Lost Lullaby by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. This is the 3rd book in the Nightmare series by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. I like Jason Segel. I really don't know a lot about Kristen Miller, but I like Jason Segel a lot. He was, of course, in How I Met Your Mother, and they're writing another series together. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I have the 1st and 2nd, and I didn't have the 3rd, so I bought the 3rd. and I bought the third. So now I can marathon read all 3 of them together, and it has decollete edges, and I love that. And so I'm very excited to read this book. The next one is A Life in Parts by Bryan Cranston. I like Bryan Cranston. He was in Breaking Bad, and I saw him on Breaking Bad I saw a couple episodes of Breaking Bad. But he was in this movie called Why Him with James Franco that I absolutely loved. It's a Christmas movie, and I'm going to watch it again around Christmas time because I love that movie a lot. So I was very excited to get his book, and his picture on the back is him as his character on Breaking Bad. But I'm also interested because, like I mentioned, that movie with him and James Franco, I'm interested to see if he writes about that movie in his book and what it was like shooting the movie. So I'm also interested in reading this one. The next one is, I think, one I'm very, very, very excited for. I love this actress. I have seen her in a bunch of stuff. She's on one of my favorite TV shows. She was on one of my favorite TV shows, Ugly Betty. She was on something else that I saw, another TV show that I saw, but she's been in a bunch of stuff, and that is We're Going to Need More Wine by Gabrielle Union. There's a used bookstore it already came out on the 17th of October, but there's a used bookstore near my house that gets a lot of books before either they're out already or a lot of like arcs before they come out. And so, I'm sorry, I didn't read the whole title. It's We're Going to Need More Wine, Stories That Are Funny, Complicated, and True by Gabrielle Union. But I got an ARC for maybe like $2-3, and I wanted to read this, but I didn't want to, it was $5. I wanted to read this, but I didn't want to pay $26 for it, so I got the ARC for $5, and I'm very excited, and it did come out already on the 17th of October, but I highly recommend this book. I have not read it yet, but I love Gabrielle Union, so I'm sure I will love this book. And this is one of the books that I'm probably most excited for to read. Okay. The next one is Nevertheless by Alec Baldwin. I like Alec Baldwin. I've seen him in a couple of things, a couple movies, and again, this was another book that I got from the used bookstore that I paid $7 for compared to $28. So I get a lot of, besides Book Outlet, I love that used bookstore near my house because they have a lot of the books that I want to read for cheap. So sometimes I wait, because if I wait, I end up finding it at the used bookstore for either $2 to $10, which isn't that bad for me. So, and new and never read sometimes, and sometimes I find some signed copies. But anyway, I wanted to read this. I like Alec Baldwin. I've seen him in a couple of things, and I'm just excited to read his book. The next one is Drive Me Crazy by Tara Alona McVoy. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I like the cover. Ooh, I never even noticed this until now. Oh my god, I like this. The top, you can't really see it there, but it's like pink. The jacket is like pink. The letters are in blue. And then this part says the name of the book called Drive Me Crazy. I saw somebody talk about this book. I am not 100% sure who, but they did like it, so I wanted to get it and read it. It's about two girls and they're Cassie and Lena, and their grandparent and Cassie's grandparents marry each other. I think Cassie's grandma marries Lena's grandpa, and the grandparents go on their honeymoon. And the girls don't like each other, and then when when each other's grandparent marries each other, the grandmother and grandfather take Cassie and Lena on their honeymoon together to try to get them to get along. So that to me is kind of interesting. And again, it is short, so I am hoping to pick this up very soon and probably just read it very quickly on a day off from school. So, yeah. Okay. The next one is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I saw the movie a couple years ago, and I thought it was okay. I hadn't seen it since. And all my books just fell. I haven't seen the movie since, so I'm excited to read the book, and then probably, and probably rewatch the movie. The next one is another one that I'm very, very, very excited about, and I'm happy I bought. It's Young and Hungry, Your Complete Guide to a Delicious Life by Dina Senger. This is a TV show with Emily Osment, and yeah, it's based on the Freeform original series created by David Holden. I absolutely love this book. I absolutely love this TV show. It's one of my favorite TV shows ever. And it's a cookbook, but it also has pictures and stuff from the TV show. There are 2 pictures on the back here and here from the TV show. And then they have a picture from it here. And then these are pictures from the TV show here and here. And then they have here, and then another one here, and then here. And they talk a little bit about, this is a cookbook, but they also talk about the TV show a little bit too. So I'm excited. They have recipes in here and another picture here. But they do talk about the TV show in this also. So I'm excited to read this book and try out a couple of things in here and see what, and read about the TV show and see maybe how they created it and stuff like that. The next one is, and they don't have a remainder mark on. I love when I don't get a book with a remainder mark. The next one is Back to the Kitchen by Freddie Prinze Jr. He is married to Sarah Michelle Gellar, who I love. And I've seen Freddie Prinze Jr., I think, in a couple of things. I think Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and the first Scooby-Doo movie. But I saw it when I was younger, so I don't really remember a lot about it. But Sarah Michelle, he wrote a cookbook, and Sarah Michelle Gellar wrote a cookbook too. They hadn't had Sarah Michelle Gellar's cookbook yet on Book Outlet. And hers came out before his. But I'm excited to look at this and try some stuff. And try some of the recipes in here. And then try some of the recipes in here and read about it. And then when they have Sarah Michelle Gellar's cookbook, I think it is, or self-help book, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a cookbook. But once they have her cookbook on there, I will buy that too. Okay, this one is another, I have maybe 3 that I'm most excited about, and this is the 3rd one that I'm most excited about that I pre-ordered on Amazon, and then I found it on Books A Million, signed, and I am so excited. This is another one that I'm so excited to read, and that is Unqualified by Anna Faris. I absolutely love Anna Faris. She's one of my favorite actresses. She was married to Chris Pratt, but they separated. I don't know if they're getting a divorce, but I love Anna Faris. I've seen a bunch of her movies. I've seen A House Bunny. I've seen another movie she was in, What's Your Number? I think I saw something else, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But her movie, What's Your Number, is one of my favorite movies ever. I still rewatch it to this day. And I love it because I bought this one on Books A Million. And it's signed. So a signed book by one of my favorite actresses. I can't say no. So I pre-ordered this book. And I'm very excited to read this. This is probably another, like I said, I have 3. And this is the 3rd book that I'm extremely excited for. The next one is I'm Fine and Other Lies by Whitney Cummings. I like Whitney Cummings a lot. She had a TV show called Whitney that I watched maybe a couple episodes of. I haven't finished watching it, but I'm going to finish watching it. My mom likes Whitney Cummings too. And she also created a TV show called Two Broke Girls that I'm very that I loved when it was on television. So, yeah, I am very excited to read this book. My mom read it first and she thought it was okay, but I want to read it and get my own 2 cents on it. Okay, we're almost done. Ugh. I'm just going to go from the top and work my way down then. Okay, I'm falling. Next one is First Light by Bill Rancic. He is married to Juliana Rancic. And she is on E! News and a bunch of other stuff. And I like his book. He did write one with Juliana that I got, and it's signed. Another one that I don't really know, and then this one. This one I was most excited to read that he wrote because I haven't read a book that he wrote on his own without Juliana, and I haven't read the other one they wrote together yet, but I'm almost there. I'm maybe like 3-4 books away from reading it, but I was interested to read a book that he did on his own without Juliana. So I'm excited to read this one as well. The next one is I Can't Make This Up, Life Lessons by Kevin Hart. This one I read last month in September. I'm sorry, this one I read in did I? I think I read this in the beginning of last month. I think I read this in the beginning of October. And I loved it so much that I had to get my own copy. And I got one signed. So that was very exciting. I love Kevin Hart. I think he's hilarious. And this book was hilarious. So I wanted to buy a physical copy of it, and getting one signed is just an added bonus. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. The next one is The Story of Lex and Liva, The Time of Twins by Kendall and Kylie Jenner. This one is another book. This is the second book to the Lex and Liva series. This is the second book to the Lex and Liva series of books. I had to get this second book because I actually didn't know if they were going to write a second book. The first one is called Rebels, City of Indra. The first book of the story is of the story of Lex and Liva. I read the first one a while ago, and I was able to get the first one, a signed copy of the first one. And I love the first one so much. I didn't know if they were going to write a second book. So when I saw their second book, I had to get it. I could not get it. So I picked it up. The next one is Around the Way Girl. I always pronounce this wrong. It's Around the Way Girl by Taraji P. Henson. I like Taraji P. Henson a lot. I think she's amazing. So I'm very excited to read her book. I saw her movie Hidden Figures and I loved it so much. So after I watched Hidden Figures, I had to pick this up. And it was on Book Outlet for cheap. So I was very excited and intrigued to get this book. The next one is Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk by Ben Fountain. They made this into a book. This is the movie cover version of the book, which is fine. I like movie cover versions. But they did make this into a book. I was going to see the movie before I read the book, but I didn't know it was a book. And then I saw it on Book Outlet for super cheap. I think maybe like $2. So I was like, okay. So I'm going to read the book first and then watch the movie. And I'm very excited to read this because it sounds super interesting. So I'm very excited to read this book. And it's with Kristen Stewart, Chris Tucker, Steve Martin, Vin Diesel. The movie is with Kristen Stewart, Chris Tucker, Vin Diesel, Steve Martin, and a bunch of other people. So I love all those people, so I'm very excited to read this book first and then watch the movie. The next one is A Place of Yes by Bethany Frankel. I have a couple of Bethany Frankel's other books. I have Naturally Thin, another one, I Suck at Relationships So You Don't Have To, and a novel she wrote called Skinny Dipping. If I didn't say the title, it's A Place of Yes. I said it's by Bethany Frankel, and I don't think I said the title, and the title is A Place of Yes. But I saw this on, again, Book Outlet for super cheap, so I had to buy it, and I have been dying to read this book. The next one is Live Fast, Die Hot by Jenny Mullen. She is married to, who is it? Jason Biggs. She's married to Jason Biggs, and her first book was... She wrote a book, this is her second book, and I can't think of what her first book is called, but this was her second book, and I wanted to read her second book, and I had, along with this book, maybe it says in the back here what her book is called, her first book is called, it's because it's about the author. Says on here what the first one is called, because I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. It doesn't say on here. It doesn't say what her first book is called. I do have her first book. I just can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But I wanted to read her second book, so I got this for super cheap on Book Outlet, and I am very excited. The next 3 more after this one. The next one is Lady Vengeance by Rachel Hawkins. This is the third book in the Rebel Belle series that I have not read yet, but I want to. So when I saw this for super cheap, I had to buy it. So I'm very excited. I don't know if if there are going to be more books to this series. I don't think so, but I'm hoping. So, yes, I'm very excited to read this too. 2 more, and then we're done. The next one is Between Two Worlds by Tyler Henry. He has a TV show called Hollywood Medium. I had heard of him. I've never seen his TV show, but apparently he's very popular. So I was interested and intrigued to read his book. And again, I didn't want to pay $25 for it, so I waited for it on Book Outlet, and I got it for like $2. The next one is Happily Ever After by Kira Cass. This is the companion to the Selection series. So I'm very excited to read the Selection series and then read this book. It has a collection of different people from the series in this book. So I want to read the Selection series first and then read this one, so I have an idea of who everybody is, so I know what I'm reading about. And the last one is A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. She has created so many series. She's created Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and a bunch of other series, TV shows that are on TV right now. I am obsessed with Scandal. She created Scandal, and I'm obsessed with Scandal. So I want to read her book, and it's so tiny. I didn't know it was going to be this small when I bought it. I thought it was going to be maybe the size of this, or like the size of this book. But it's so small. It's so tiny compared to it. Compared to it, it's so tiny. But and it's so tiny also compared to this one. But I was very excited to see this and buy it for like I think $2 compared to $24 for this small tiny book. But anyway, I'm very excited to read this book, and I am very excited to dive right in. Alright, those were all the books I have for this big giant book haul this month. I did a lot of shopping. I'm hoping not to buy that many books in November. I did pre-order one, and it's Staying Stylish by Candace Cameron Bure. I'm obsessed with Candace Cameron Bure, so any book she writes, I will definitely be buying. And I pre-ordered that in summer, so that's, I think, the only book right now that I'm going to have. But you know me, it's books. I love books, so you know me, you never know. But alrighty, that's all for this video today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.